So my name is Elisabeth, and in this talk we'll be exploring with you how you can include accessibility in your design process. And before I do that, a quick word on myself. I work with user experience design at Handelsbanken, and we're making great efforts at Handelsbanken to make our digital services accessible for all. So I'm super passionate about accessibility, and I started learning about this 2 years ago. My course leader was Hampus Setfors, who runs a company called Access Lab. And now at Handelsbanken, I've done many accessibility audits for existing products we have. I've traveled to Malmö to test how accessible the products are. And I'm a proud ambassador for our accessibility community at our company that focuses on building awareness and sharing best practices. So I'm so excited to be here for the best after work party ever. And I hope you guys have energy for this. I'm going to talk about 20 minutes. And yeah, I would like to jump into my presentation now. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes. That's nice. I don't see your guys' faces, so yeah. So very, very good to hear your voice. Yeah. So what I will be covering. Let's see if this works here. Yes, I will cover today what actually accessibility is, how to get accessibility in your design process, and lastly, I will share 7 practical tips about accessibility, how to test real products with real people. So let's kick off considering what do these 3 things have in common? And on the screen, I'm showing a typewriter, a mobile phone displaying a text message, and a fidget spinner. What do these have in common? You can share it on a chat. And the answer is that all these examples of products and services were designed for users with access needs, but actually ended up benefiting a far greater audience. And let me tell you some stories about these. The modern typewriter was invented by Italian, and it was invented as a disability aid. He needed a way to communicate with his blind lover who was unable to write with pen and ink. And the keyboard is still used today in nearly every computer and almost every mobile phone we use. The text message was invented as a communication aid for deaf people and went to transform the mobile telecoms for all of us. And the fidget spinners, this was a blast for kids. Hundreds of thousands of kids used them, and it was meant to be for the aid for the people who have can't focus. And the good news is that it was so essential for everybody. So this is important fact here that if you're designing for less common use case, you actually improve usability for all your users alike. And the good news is that all the organizations are starting to understand the universal usability benefits of accessibility, that it's essential for some and usable for everybody. So what is accessibility? There are 2 things you need to be aware of. Digital access can be permanent, they can be temporary, they can be situational. And so permanent situation is something like being born blind, or temporary can be a broken arm. A situational could be a parent holding a child and paying bills with another one. So we generally describe these needs as like that, or we describe them under 3 umbrellas: physical impairments, sensory, and cognitive impairments. Physical could be motor impairment. Users might need to navigate your site hands-free using assistive technologies such as dictation software, or like me, I use Google Home all the time. So I say just, "Hey Google," and it plays my favorite song. So So a blind person might use a keyboard or a screen reader, whereas partially sighted person might want to customize the experience on your site, changing the text size. And cognitive impairments include many things, including ADHD, dyspraxia, and other things to do with language processing. As me, I'm actually not from Sweden, I'm from Estonia. And when I look at some of the Swedish text, the law text, I will be very dizzy in my head and probably need pictures and clear language. So some people will need to use assistive technology, such as screen reader, or others just need to be able to customize how the experience site on your app. So this is what the basics is for the accessibility. Hopefully you are still with me there. So we're moving on to the part number 2. And at this point, you just probably want me to throw up the screen a checklist of guidelines for you to follow or so on. And that's a great place to start. But let me introduce you how we work with accessibility at Handelsbanken. And how you can get this accessibility in your design process. Maybe you don't know actually what Handelsbanken is. So Handelsbanken is a Swedish bank providing universal banking services, including traditional corporate transactions, investment banking, trading, as well as insurance. And many organizations are waking up, and so are we. We have waken up and we have taken new measures. So how to get accessibility in your design process. And this, my tip number 1 would be to join a community or create one. And this is so important. And you can join the community online. You can join Ladies Who UX example, or you can follow inspirational accounts like I'm presenting here. Samantha, UX designer, and web accessibility awareness. They both share a lot of things about accessibility. Or you have at work your community of accessibility. And so at the Handelsbanken, it started with 2 unicorns, 2 accessibility persons who really convinced a lot of people. And 2 people are quite tough to really, because we are like developing hundreds and hundreds of things every day. And they created a year ago this community in our company. We call it actually Accessibility Cup and conference of parties. And the purpose is to educate one another, to talk about best practices and expand and include more people in the organization. So not only designers have responsibility, but also we share knowledge with developers, content managers, graphic designers, and many other roles who are ambassadors for this club. So we are joining every other week regularly. And there are about 20 people so far, and we're growing by a minute. So every other week we sit down and dive deep into this specific topic. It could be a latest tool that we have discovered, or it could be a specific problem, like how can we make our documents more accessible? So this will be my pro tip number 1, to join a community at work or outside work, just to keep yourself updated. And how to get this in your regular design process. It's to really, maybe you think that it's some other process. We have a defined product vision, design, development, learning, measuring the outcomes. And now this framework probably seems very familiar to you. And that's the purpose. I'm not here to teach you another process for you, because I've seen a lot of features at my work that they are adding at the end, and it's not very successful. So what we do right now is we include it in a user story. So every development team, we work with Safe Agile Framework, which is a scaled agile way of working. And we add accessibility in the user stories, so in the criterias to really to get it right from the beginning. And yes, the developers don't want to do some things, and we have to educate them all the time, and we have to lift people with inspiration. So it's not something it's not very it's very expensive to add it in the end, so it's right to get it right from the get-go. And in the end, the good design is just inclusive design is just simply a good design. So we might sit together with developers and look at the code and look at if we really have everything in check. And unfortunately, I can't share my checklist with you guys, but I have two VCAG sites that I really recommend. One is in Swedish from Per Axbo, and the other one is from the English one, allyproject.com checklist. And I think it's a very good place to start. And they are both quite easy to take in. So take a screenshot or ask me later for the link. And yeah, so we really make sure that it doesn't just look good, it's just that the code also works good, because example, PDF documents, there also the code has to be very good, at good quality. Yes, and now we're moving on to a question. So today in Sweden, I saw that there are people from outside of Sweden, but it's fun anyways. The total residents population of Sweden was 10,377,781 people in October 2020. How many people have registered a disability? You can answer in the chat. I don't see the chat actually, but I hope people are writing something.
20%, yes. 25.
27. 27. I hear 27.
We have 20%, 25%.
Yeah,
800.
I'm hearing correct answers. And the correct answer is 20%. It's 2,075,556 people in Sweden. And this is only a permanent. We have also temporary and situational. So the number is very high. So if you don't convince your developers and product owners that we can't think about it, I think this number will change their minds. Now we're moving to the practical tips. And the third part is to testing with real users and real products. And like regular user test, it's not a rocket science. And doing tests with disabilities, it will give you so much more than just reading a checklist or testing with non-disabled users. Why? Well, they will go further. They will go further. They are so much better at spotting inconsistencies in your design, problems, navigation, unnecessary difficult content. They will immediately stop if it's difficult. And most people have never witnessed someone with a screen reader. So luckily, we have an internet age, and you can find this very good demo of digital accessibility on YouTube. And it's just amazing to witness when a screen reader really reads your website content at 4 times as rate as general speech. It's incredible how quickly how you can train your ears to that they speak so quickly. And when I had my accessibility course with Access Lab 2 years ago, we actually met users with different disabilities. And I think this was the most eye-opening to really to understand that you have to educate yourself all the time, because the needs are so different, and how people use web is so different and very essential for some. Let me repeat you, it's not a rocket science to test with disabilities. So I'm not now gonna give you my practical part of this talk, my 7 tips how to do better tests with users with disabilities. So tip number 1 is ensure a baseline of accessibility before usability testing. Believe me, you don't want to be there and plan and do everything and to find out that your color is not had the right contrasts. And these are some alt text, and color contrast is something very easy you can do. And I could say that this is the baseline. And very good to address the checklist before you do the usability testing. So, example, the buttons, they don't say just button, and so on. Tip number 1 is to make it comfortable to know where you can look for participants. And people are actually very supportive when you say you want to improve the accessibility of your product. So go search for groups to collaborate with, Facebook groups. You maybe find an elderly center nearby, or you have a specific group with a specific disability. Or you might use ads to advertise your study. And a good approach here is to use a hashtag. Example, ally, which stands for accessibility. There are 11 letters in between A, N, E, or E. Okay. Or you can contact the recruiting company and ask specifically if they have experience with users with disabilities. The tip number 3 would be to prepare your invitation. And a good invitation will both make the test subject more comfortable and reduce number of people who don't show up at the test session. So make it clear on the invitation what is going to happen. And I actually have called people also to that they really recognize me, and we can have a little chat. And what you can include is, if you can't do that, include an image of a test leader, how long it's gonna last, address with direct access details, and meet people downstairs, and also make sure that the rooms are accessible, because you if we are a bit selfish, we don't think automatically about these things, but making sure the rooms are accessible as well. So, and the last is to actually ask them to bring any assistive technology, like a screen reader or so. So, the tip number 4 will be to have a backup plan for assisting technology. This happened to me. First of all, this participant didn't take the assistive technology with them, so I didn't have any keyboard with markings, and we couldn't test the web. Actually, it was a disaster, because I didn't really plan for it. And the Wi-Fi, of course, didn't work as well. So have extra cables in your pockets, and yeah, do like think the worst case scenario. So yeah. And if you are optimistic as me, you want to test both web and mobile, maybe you just pick one and have a really good backup plan. Tip number 5 is to don't ask questions, give tasks. So this is while ago, when you see that what you ask the question and test participant is just fading away to the totally different direction. And maybe you asked, what would you do to find the contact information? And the user starts explaining that, oh, I'm going to call my financial advisor, and or I'm going to Google that. And you're like, okay, I don't want them to feel stupid for asking such a bad question. And instead, you go straight to the point. And so give very exact tasks, like find your order details on this site, or find contact information. Yes. So this is a very good one. And also, don't push them to think out loud. Try to say, if you want to, you can say what you're thinking about using this site. Just be very chill. Tip number 6 is to add additional time. So we have also, we are testing with users or products every other week, and it's quite packed, the user script. So tip number 6 is to add additional time. It often can take a person for disabilities more time to complete a test scenario. It takes time to get the assistive technology on set, to process information, to navigate on the site, and etc. So don't speed through your different tasks. You think maybe you skip two if you see that the people need more time. And my final tip would be to consider additional costs. Depending on the disability, type of transportation to the usability testing location may add additional burden or cost for them. And so consider the cost of transportation. If feasible, provide a double amount, or make sure that there are a taxi that picks them up and to and from your location. And also, on a side note, if you love dogs, like me, don't clap the dogs, because they are guidance for them, and they are not allowed to actually greet the dogs. So, a recap. 7 practical tips is to ensure the baseline level of accessibility before usability testing. Know where to find participants. Prepare your invitation with a nice picture and very clear details, and a contact information. Have a backup plan, extra wires on your pockets. Don't ask questions, give tasks, add more time, and consider additional costs. By all means, accessibility in your design process, it's not another process. Include it in your regular design process, and join a community about this matter, or you can create one. So thank you so much. This was a presentation from me. We have covered accessibility and how to get it in your design process. And I'm so looking forward to hearing you and your accessibility journeys. So thank you. I would love to hear some questions now.
Yeah, we have one here.
Hi.
Yeah, Miriam, do you want to say, or do you want me to read?
Oh, yeah. Okay, the chat.
We have here
in the
very
chat. Exciting, yeah. Very exciting, very exciting. We see, have you done accessibility tests, digital during COVID lockdown? If so, do you have any quick tips? We have paused the accessibility test, but we have planned one for the autumn.
She also had another question, that is, why not push the users to think out loud? But
because when considering different, when they are rushed into some tests, it can create so much more anxiety for them, and they feel very stressed out to actually complete tasks, because it could be very uncomfortable for them. So try to chill more and not to like make it right or wrong. How do you combine accessibility with continuous UX design work and development? Do you use special sprints or for focused accessibility tests, or it's a part of continuous UX work? Yes, very good question. Thank you, Vaida. Well, I include accessibility in my everyday work. And when we are making new things, usually we can plan ahead them. As I speak, we use safe agile framework. So we always, I can always join my accessibility community at work, which is a luxury. And then I discuss, okay, here we have these documents, and I really see that they are not accessible really, and they really even not irresponsible. The layout doesn't work. How can we solve that? So they are like helping and backing up me quite a lot. And but I am actually including this as soon as possible. So to try really like think. To be aware, who am I closing down from my process? Because we have prioritized different groups, target groups, we do, but to consider like, okay, this is not going to work for screen readers, okay?
Great.
Yay!
Great
I hope it
questions.
was good.
I think Daniela raised her hand.
That's and another good one. How do you work with accessibility if the contrast in a brand or color does not work and needs to be changed? Yes, this is I have experienced that as well, because some example, oranges never really work with white, and some other colors like green.
That's the brand, the orange with the white. Yes.
I'm sorry. But you could really address this matter by showing up how can different people experience these colors, and how different screen resolutions can show up these colors, and also show the numbers, how many people actually struggle with these problems. So make it very, very, don't hide it down, just push it up, and you don't have to. I understand that you can feel like I'm responsible for this, that, I can't just let it go, but you try to include as many people. So it's more powerful with lots of different people.
Thank you.
Hi, Elisabeth.
Hi.
Yeah, I have a question that is related to accessibility, but at the same time, it's quite specific, because I always wonder that with all this digitalization of products, and especially, for example, in banking, that elders people, they are not coping with this, in a way, and I mean, that's something reasonable, but how the, the industry is working to work in this gap that is happening at the moment. It's I sometimes I feel that a lot of products that are target for younger people, and I don't know, maybe it's a little too much my question, but if you can answer that, that would be lovely, because
I'm not sure if I can answer that, but I would try to. When products, if I'm hearing you correctly, that a lot of new things are focused for the younger generations, and how we can include and think about older generations as well. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So depends on the product or service as well. Here at banking, we really address everybody. And there's also like, everybody, how is that possible? It's not even possible. But I think the VCAG is really like a very nice guide for us to understand that it's not only about the looks and the interactions. It's also about the depth of the how we people are, and we are so different. So I would just address that this is the new norm, and this is what a good design is and examples of very good designs, and they are actually mostly accessible as well. Take example, text message or so. So I'm not. It's a strategy question to add it in strategy canvas, maybe to really show that we are actually excluding these people and we are missing a lot of money here and there as well, if that works.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, this was very fun.
Yeah.
I hope you guys
Elisabeth.
are. This is the best after work. It was long time ago, actually. It was when I had after work.
Elisabeth, we have one question.
Yeah.
I'm here. How can we start a group of accessibility ambassadors in the company?
In the company?
Yeah.
Okay. This is very exciting as well, because I was one of the first members. I didn't really create a community myself, but what I can see that firstly, invite everybody you know that has contacted you about accessibility matters. Or maybe there's somebody else who is accessibility content manager, and you can just initiate that. Hey, I have this amazing idea that we could educate one another and meet regularly. Can I facilitate this group? So you consistently add people and ask them to join every other week. And then you can just schedule different topics. You can start with the basics and then build up case by case. So this will be my tip.
Okay,
or
great.
if
Thank
you
you.
don't get it in a company, make an Instagram account about it.
Yeah, good tip.
Yeah, thank you.
I have one question, Elisabeth.
Yeah.
It's more related to the type of the usability test. Do you think is it possible to do the unmoderated tests in this case?
I never really have experienced that, so it's a lot of guessing right now, so it doesn't come from the experience. But it could work because I haven't tried, but it could work. I will stay there. I've just stopped guessing. Yeah, I'm not sure. Try it out.
Yeah, let's try. Because in my company, it's really common to do like moderated tests is quickly. But I will try to bring this topic and see. Thanks.
Oh, thank you for asking. Okay, another question. What would you think is the most important in accessibility when it comes to online banking services? I think the most important is that people can do essential things like paying bills, looking their account, transferring money, and so on, so on, so on. So I think this is the most essential because I have to admit that it's not super easy for everybody because the disabilities are so different, and I see that we have to work on it very hard as well. So if I could just do a new feature all by myself, then I will create like paying your bills thing. So you don't need another person to do that for you. Lovely questions. I like it. I like it. Yeah, do we have any more questions, or we just end up here?
We have one more.
So thank you so much. Do you have any tips in advocating for accessibility in a big organization when you're first ambassador? Ooh, good one, good one. Bring the energy. I think the inspiring, not like going with, people are like, oh, this is for people with disabilities, but it's not actually. Just get these inspirational examples and bring the energy and show them the numbers and yeah, show them the videos, and it's probably that they've never seen the people experiencing how the actual people use their product. And thank you. Yeah, thank you everybody. So nice. It was very happy to be here.
Yeah.
Great questions. I love them.
Yeah, I love it as well. And I loved your energy as well. We have some some more comments.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. So,
Elisabeth.
Yeah.
If people have more questions later, can they reach you on which channel? What is the best way?
So I'm quite active on Instagram, but you can also reach me on LinkedIn. And yeah, I will happily answer any question and so on. So if anyone is interested, I can share the links with you guys in some way and stuff like that. So if you are interested, comment on the comments here. So I will send you some of the links that I recommended here. The YouTube videos and VCAG and so on.
We can also send by email later for everybody that is here.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, it's easier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I shared your Instagram here in the chat, then everyone can follow you and ask a question. Nice.
Yes, send me the requests. I love meeting new people.
Oh, nice. Sandy tell us that I was so tired before this and now I am so pumped now.
That's great.
Nice. That's great.
That's
amazing.
Yeah. And actually, a good tip is that water, if you're tired, you drink water and just hold in your mouth and you'll feel better.
Great.
That's a good one.
Good pro tip. Thank you, Fabienne. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions?
Then I think we're done.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Thank you,
so
everybody.
much for having me. I wish you all guys a great accessibility journey and more inclusive designs. And yeah, we're gonna do a good job here.
Yeah,
super nice
totally.
topic. Super important. Yeah. Thank you very much, Elisabeth. We are super glad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And
thank you.
Yeah, if anyone has something to share in some previous next meetings, please reach us because we are super happy to help sharing this content like Elisabeth did. So, and thank you everyone for attending this meeting. We are super happy, and we had lots of questions, nice questions, and great to have you here.
Yeah, great talks, really great talks.
Yeah. Nice.
Well,
we're done. Everyone have an amazing.
Thank you, Luciana, and thank you, Milena, for having me here, and thank you all for being here. And
thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Take some rest.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you in the next.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Eliane.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.